In this nitty-gritty Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Maj. Our topic for today is critical thinking, which is really the foundation of any version of Mah Jongg. We use our critical thinking skills. So we're going to briefly talk about that, and then we'll do lots of gameplay with commentary. Thank you very much for hanging out with me in the next hour. I also want to say thank you to our channel moderators who will help monitor the chat today. We do have a new channel member as well. I just want to say thank you to Hattie. Thank you very much for supporting what we do here at MAHJLIFE. All right, how's everybody doing? We've got the sun shining, which is a good thing. Now, I believe that I have a very short presentation. Let me just pull that up because that'll frame the topic. If anyone has any questions, let me know in the live stream chat. Hello, Nancy. Born a Brit. Born a Brit. Your problem is reading the card. Okay, so I take it you're brand new to the game and you're trying to learn how to read the card. Hello, Linda. Welcome. Okay, so reading the card, I have a wiki article that you might find helpful and a video too that might help you. So let me pull up this quick presentation first. And let's see here, because reading the card takes critical thinking. It's all part of the same foundation. So let's see. Let's see where. There it is.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Your name is Carol. Okay, Carol. Let's see. Now, are you from England and you're just learning how to play American Mah Jongg? Yeah, let's see here. All right. You're from the UK and you live in Palm Desert. You've been playing for 3 months. Okay, good. So have you had lessons? There may be another challenge here. Let me just ask you a couple questions because our topic for today might actually help you. Because I wonder, let's see, you did not have lessons. I see no. Does that mean you have not taken a lesson? You've been playing for 3 months. You learn from friends, or is it that you and your friends are teaching yourselves how to play? You've been teaching yourselves how to play? Have you guys been teaching yourselves how to play? So you already know how to actually set up a game and everything like that? Better players help you, but the card's verbiage stumps you. Okay, the card's verbiage. Things like under year number 1 in the parentheses. Is it the text in the parentheses that you find complicated? Is it the text in the parentheses? Let's find, or maybe you can point me to what gives you the most, what creates the most pain for you on the card. The text in the parentheses. Okay, now when you say green, red, etc., do you mean the different colors on the card are painful to discern? Because I think it may be a combination of things, and it's trying to decide what it all means. Okay, good. So I think today will definitely help you, and it'll be helpful for everybody watching, especially if anyone else is new to the game, or you're maybe just have maybe some mind blocks on navigating the card. It's confusing to you on the right. What do you mean by it's confusing to you on the right? What does that mean? It's confusing to you on the right. Under values, is that what you mean? The right margin on each panel is confusing as well? The right of the card. Do you mean the whole right panel? Or are you talking about the right margin on each panel? So for example, like all of this right here, is that what is confusing right here? Is that what's confusing to you? Or is it the entire card that is confusing? Do you have your card in front of you? You don't understand what it means on the right. But when you say on the right, are you talking about on each panel, the right margin on each panel of the card? Because there are 3 panels. Or are you talking about the right panel? Since there are 3 panels, you have the left panel, middle panel, right panel, but each panel has a right margin with information. So I'm trying to figure out which you're having trouble with. Not the values, yes, the card. Okay, so let's see. Not the values. Okay, so the values are not an issue. So if you, how were you introduced to the game? You wonder if she means the parentheses. Yeah, she did say the parentheses, but I'm trying to establish a starting point. Yeah, we're going to get to the parentheses in a minute, but what I want to understand is, let's see here, is it Carol? Carol, did you and your friends begin to teach yourselves the game independently? That's what I'd like to know. Did you and your friends begin you wanted to learn? Okay, so did you purchase the cards and then you taught yourselves based on what is on the back of the card and the card itself? Is that how you got started? Just confirm that for me. Yes, independently. Okay, very good. So you can learn how to play American Mah Jongg by looking at the card alone. There's enough information there to teach you how to understand the fundamental, or not the fundamentals, but the preliminaries of how to set up a game. You know, mix the tiles and build the walls, roll the dice, deal the tiles, do the Charleston, and there are some high-level rules on the back of the card. Just enough information to help you play the game at a fundamental level. And then the inside of the card has valid hands that you are able to use so that you can meet the objective, which is to get randomly dealt tiles and then create a hand that matches one on the card with your tiles. All that is presented on the card, but there's much more to the game than that. So there's more that you have access to outside this card, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So you're looking at consecutive run number 1, any one suit, these numbers only, you get that in the brackets. Can do all that, it's only the right parenthesis. It's only the right parenthesis. That is only, can do that, it's only the right parenthesis. Okay, so when you look at a hand on the card in any given category, the text in the parentheses, okay, so the fine print on each line or the fine print next to each hand gives you either flexibility or limitation. So it sets boundaries for you for that particular hand. On the right of the card, you are not understanding. Okay, so it sounds like you are perplexed by the fine print for any given hand on the card. And that fine print is presented in parentheses. Can you just confirm that for us? Yes, perplexed all hands. Okay, now do you play online anywhere? Because there are solutions for you. And what you're experiencing is temporary. That's the good news. So do you play online anywhere? Because if you play online, it can shorten your learning curve, depending on where you play. We're going to be playing at I Love Maj, which is the perfect place to start, I think. You're trying to. Okay, let me share my screen because I just want to show you a tool that will help you immensely, I think. So let me share my screen again. We're going to go, we're at I Love Maj. This is I Love Maj, which I highly recommend. They have a 2-week free trial, and then you have to subscribe to continue using it. And it's nominal. I don't remember how much it is, but you can find that out on here somewhere when you subscribe. But if you use MAHJLIFE as your promo code, you can get an extra week for free. So you can figure out if you want to actually subscribe and take your time doing that. Okay, I highly recommend that you use I Love Maj because let me show you what they have that can help you. This is under the play menu. Under the play menu, so you go to I Love Maj and you hover over play, and then you go to the exercise room. In this exercise room, they have a feature called Make a Hand. If you use this feature, it will help you understand every hand on the card, including the text in the parentheses. So let me click this and just show it to you really quick. And then we'll talk about critical thinking. We'll still be able to do everything. So for those of you who've already been through all of this, just bear with the process. Okay, so here is the exercise room in the create a hand or build a hand. I don't remember what it was, but this is where you can go hand by hand and practice creating the hand based on what is seen on the card. So if you look at look right here. Do you see my mouse moving around here? It will tell you what hand you're supposed to build. 2025 line 1. So if you look at the first line or hand, okay, every one of these is a hand. Some people call these lines. I call them hands. So the first hand on the card is 4 flowers and then a year block and then like numbers of 2s or 5s. So in the parentheses, it says any 3 suits. Anytime that you see a change in color on the card, it means that you have a change in suit in your hand. You get to decide which suit represents which color. So if you're thinking that Anything green on the card means you have to use BAMs. Anything red means you have to use cracks. And anything blue means you have to use dots. That's not how it works. The change in color on the card mean that you have to have change in suit in your hand, but you decide which suit is which. So for example, we're going to click on a flower, and when you click on a tile, it puts it on your rack digitally. So we're playing with a virtual rack here. So I'm going to click 4 flowers. So there we have our flowers. And then we need 3 more blocks. Each block is a different color. We have green, red, and white. So that means that we need 3 suits in our hand. Change in color means change in suit. So for the first block, which is green, let's use cracks. So we need a 2, 0, 2, 5. So here's a 2. Now we need a 0, which is a white dragon. And then we need another 2, and we need a 5. So there's the first block after the flowers in cracks. Even though the color is green, that doesn't mean it has to be BAMs. We can use whatever suit we want. It's just that it has to be different than the other blocks. So the next block is red, but it doesn't mean that you have to use cracks. We already used cracks. So now we're going to use, let's say we use dots. And let's say instead of 2s, we're going to use 5s. Because if you look in the parentheses, it says, like pungs, the 3 of a kind, 2s or 5s in opposite suits. So we're going to use the 5 dot. So instead of the 2, like it is on the card, we're going to use the flexibility provided in the parentheses, because it says you can use 2s or 5s. So here we're going to use 5s for the pung. And there's something missing. We need a 3rd block. So what do we need to use for this 3rd block? We need another block. The hand's not done yet. So if we have our flowers, then we have a year block, and we have a pung of 5s. What do we need to do to finish the hand? What would complete this particular hand? I call this exercise category modeling. BAMs, Stephanie says BAMs, and that is correct. So we need 3 BAMs. So here's the hand. Line 1 or hand 1 under the year. We have 4 flowers, a year block, and then like numbers in the other 2 suits. And that fulfills that hand. This is complete. And to check yourself, you just click validate. And it tells you if you're right or wrong. So I want to do it again though, because I'm going to do the flowers, and then I'm going to do BAMs, or no, I don't want to do BAMs because I want it to be opposite, just so you can see how it works. So there's 2, 0, 2, 5 in dots. So then we could do BAMs of 2s. Oops, I put in 4. And then we could do 2 crack. So instead of 5s, we have 2s, because in the parentheses, it gives you that flexibility. Anything in the parentheses either confirms the visual, provides flexibility or substitutions, or it will also give you boundaries. It will tell you the limitation for that particular hand. That is the purpose of the parentheses. So it basically gives you the boundaries for that particular hand, or confirmation. Because like if you look at, well, let's just validate this one. So could be 2s or 5s, but not mixed due to the words in the parentheses. Yet they have to be like pungs. Anytime you see the word like, that means the 2 blocks have to be the same number. So we have 2s and 5s. So we can validate that. And it says, yes, that's correct. So let's say what Charlotte just said. So we're going to do 2, 0, 2, 5. Oopsies, I forgot the flowers. Okay, so there's the flowers. And then we're going to do the 2 cracks. And now we're going to do, oops, I want to put that back. Let's say we do the BAMs. Okay, so let's do this. So what do you think about this representation here? So we have 4 flowers, we have the year block, and then we have 2s and 5s. So on the card, it says 3 colors, which we have, dots, BAMs, and cracks. And it says you have to have 2s or 5s with the pungs, which we have. But let's validate this. This is incorrect. This is incorrect because the 2 pungs have to be the same number. Click Show Solution, and it will correct it for you so that you can see how it's supposed to be made. Does that make sense? So let's do the next hand, because the next hand, it says it's got how many colors are on there? How many colors are on the hand for the second hand under the year? We have 3 colors. The white dragon, or 0, is neutral, so it's shown in dark blue, super dark blue. So here we could do 3 2 cracks, 4 white dragons. Then we can do, let's say, 2s in the BAMs and 5s in BAMs. 2 colors on the card, so 2 suits in your hand. So again, the colors on the card do not tell you which suit to use. You get to decide that. The change in the color on the card mean a change in the suit in your hand. You have full control over what those colors represent, or what the suits represent in regards to the color on the card. Here, green on the card is our 2 crack. The white dragon is the Conga white dragons for the 0s. And then the 2 BAM, 5 BAM, the BAMs represent the red 2 5 on the card. So try not to associate the colors on the cards or on the card with the suits. You have control. You've got creative control over what suits you use in your hand. All right, so I hope you found that helpful. And this tool here, you can do this line by line by line. So I highly recommend that you do this exercise and then just do the next one. So just click next hand and it tells you line 3. So now you're going to go to line 3 and you're going to read the parentheses and create it and then validate it and learn how to read the card using this tool. Do you think that will be helpful for you? Oh, awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do, if you have any trouble, feel free to email me directly. You can find my email in the video description below. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to give you 3 tactics to simplify Charleston decision making. So in addition to having to learn how to read the card, you have to learn how to create a hand. Well, how do you do that? I mean, it's a little overwhelming at first. I know, trust me. I've been there. We all have. We all started in the same place. We all started in a place of confusion and overwhelm. It's one of it's the nature of the beast when you play a complex game. But the learning curve, once you get through it, the journey will be worth it because then you'll enjoy this game that will keep your mind very active And it could even improve your social life if you find a group that is well suited for yourself. Okay, so now, can you go back and show us how to set this up? Okay, yeah, let me see here how to get to it. So what you do is you go to I Love Maj, okay? So here's I Love Maj. We're at I Love Maj right now, ilovemaj.com, and then you click play. Click play, and then click the exercise room. In the exercise room, there are 5 exercises, and they're all excellent. We are going to do one at a time. The first one is what we just did, the make a hand. That is the entry level place when you're just learning this game. That's the best place to start. The rest of these are more advanced. And we're actually going to do it. We're going to go into Charleston practice. But to get where we were, where you create a hand on the card, click launch exercise under make a hand. And then you just do hand by hand. So now we're looking at line 4 under the year. And then you just click on a tile to make it. And then if you make a mistake, you just click the tile in your rack to put it back and continue that way. And then when you're done, you click validate. And then you can do previous or next to navigate the card. Okay, so now let's see here. Oh yeah, I want to go back to the presentation. Okay. So here we go. We're going to talk about 3 tactics that are going to simplify your life. You ready? Okay, the first thing that I want to share is after you set up the game and everybody has their tiles, the first thing that you're going to do is look at your tiles and get them arranged in a way that works for your brain. And then you're going to identify the strength of the hand. You need to find a starting point. That's got to come from you. You decide the starting point. What are you going to zero in on with your hand? And we're going to talk about how best to do that. But when you get ready to start the game, there's this Charleston passing that everybody does. And this is actually sorry, my bangs are distracting me here. The Charleston is a pre-game hand development accelerator. This is actually done before the game begins, because East discards to start the actual game. So the Charleston is a pre-game hand development accelerator. It's there to help you transform your dealt hand from random tiles to something you can work with when East discards the first tile. It accelerates hand development if you make the right decisions at the right time. And that's what we're going to look at. I'm going to give you 3 tactics to make it easy for you, okay? It'll still be challenging, but it'll be simple. We're going to simplify it. Okay, so with the Charleston, each player has the potential to quickly improve their dealt hand with good decisions while exchanging up to 21 tiles in 7 passes. And that's up to, because the second round is optional. So you may or may not go into the second round. You may only have 4 passes if someone stops the Charleston. So you get up to 21 tiles, and that's huge. So just know that the purpose of the Charleston is to gather tiles. It's not to make a hand necessarily, although you could. It's to gather tiles. And if you get close to a winning hand, that's fantastic. And that's the goal. More times than not, you've got to continue to develop the hand after East discards. So let's talk about how to do that. When you play Mahjong, the whole game where you develop a hand to match one on the card has 4 stages. Target, where you get your dealt hand and you target the strength of the hand. You got to find where to start. That would be targeting. Then during the Charleston, you gather. You gather tiles. That should be your focus. First, you target the strength of the hand, then you gather tiles during the Charleston. Then you start building up, because if you look at the card, you've got single, pair, pung, kong, quint. With American Mah Jongg, those are multiples, aside from the single, of course, because one tile is all by itself. But a pair, pung, kong, quint, those are multiples because it's one or more identical tile. I call them multiples. So you're going to build your multiples based on what you're going for. Sometimes you're going to have several options, and eventually you're going to pick one. So you want to build your hand. And then typically in the middle of the game is when you start thinking about defending. But you can also defend in the Charleston, and we'll briefly talk about that. So when you get your dealt hand, you analyze the situation, which is your beginning point. You identify alternatives. So you want to identify different things that you can do with those tiles. Eventually, you're going to need to pick one hand. Along the way, you consider the choices that you have, and then you make a decision. That is critical thinking. That process is critical thinking. And that is one reason why so many people love this game. It's complex, it's challenging, and it requires us to use critical thinking. So now let's look at the makeup or the attributes of the American Mah Jongg card. We have flowers on the card in pairs. We also have flowers in kongs. 42% of the hands use flowers. So flowers are prevalent on the card. You want to avoid passing flowers, okay? Avoid passing flowers. And make sure that you count the cost of discarding them later in the game. Winds are in very few hands, and so are dragons. But there are 11 more hands with dragons than winds. So during the Charleston, if you have to pass winds and dragons, pass winds before dragons, and try not to pass 2 winds or 2 dragons together. Then we have like numbers. Like numbers where you have 1 or more blocks, or actually it would be 2 or more blocks with the same number tile. That's called like numbers. If you look at the category on the first panel, the bottom left corner, you have only 3 hands in that category, but there are like numbers all over the card. So you want to avoid passing like numbers. 46% of the hands on the card use like numbers. Actually, that's more hands than flowers, hands with flowers. So if you're going to pass flowers or like numbers, it's better to pass a flower than it is to pass like numbers. Okay, so with one suit and mixed suits, just know that there are more hands in mixed suits than there are in one suit. So try not to be distracted by the beauty of a one suit hand, because there are many more options in mixed suits. You want to gather all the tiles that can be used in whatever category you've chosen. Whether it's a one suit or mixed suit, it doesn't matter. Try not to focus on one suit. Just gather every tile that you can use in whatever category you're focused on. Okay, now singles. There are more hands with singles. You got to assess the risk of singles much later in the game. During the hand selection process, when you first get your dealt hand, you want to focus on pair, pung, kong, quint, because eventually these are the blocks that you're going to need in order to win. You've got to focus on multiples and start there. Begin with the end in mind. Target multiples. Okay, now let's talk about the 3 tactics. The first tactic is called optimize. If you look at these tiles that we have here, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in dots with a pair of 3s and a pair of 5s. Then we have a pair of 1 bams and a 9, a 3 crack, white dragon, and a north. So we have 3 multiples in here, 3 dot, 5 dot, 1 bam. So to optimize hand development, you target the multiples. So whatever we play, we're going to focus on the 3, 5, and the 1. So maybe we play a little odd hand, or 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we could use at least 2 of those multiples in a hand. That is called optimizing. Target multiples. The next one is called maximizing. This is a good tactic to use if you don't have any multiples. So if you look at these tiles here, you can see that we have a flower, white dragon, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 in dots, 1, 3, 9 in bams, a 3, 6 in cracks. So we have no multiples. They're all singles. I call this a wide spread. When this happens, you look for a predominant pattern, a category, for example, that you would be able to use most of your tiles for. So if you can use, let's say, 3, 6, 9s, you would be able to maximize your potential because you're using most of your tiles here. There are a lot of 3, 6, 9s in here. So 3, 6, 9 would be a good choice. Now, while you play, this could change. When a multiple forms, like let's say you draw a 3 dot, you want to reassess and target the multiple. So if a multiple forms, just reassess, and you want to target the multiple to optimize hand development. That was the previous tactic. And then you want to choose a category that will use most of your tiles. That would be maximizing. So optimize and maximize. And then the next tactic is called streamlining. Streamlining is when you focus on consecutive run. And again, it doesn't matter the suits. You gather every number in a range of 4 or 5 where you could then use most of your tiles. So here we could do some kind of a 3, 4, 5 hand. If we happen to get a 2, we could do a 1 through 5 hand. And that would maximize and streamline this particular hand. So when you get your dealt hand, never again say to yourself, I have nothing, because that is a myth. You always have something to work with. You just have to have a mind shift. Use these 3 tactics. Optimize by targeting multiples if you have them. Maximize by using most of your tiles and focus on a category where you can use most of your tiles. And then streamline where you focus on runs. Now, let's just briefly talk about the differences between the categories. Odds has what looks like the most options, but that is not actually true because there are many more hands that use consecutive run, especially if you think about how efficient they are because you have 9 numbers in a range, whereas odds are only 5. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's 5 numbers. But consecutive run, you've got 9. And it goes up and down the range depending on what hand you play. But there are also hands outside the category of consecutive run. So just know that consecutive run is more powerful than odds. And then we have wins evens, 3, 6, 9, and it kind of goes down in number from there. So the most powerful categories on the card are consecutive, run, and odds. The others offer some switchability and challenge as well. And it really depends on what you get in your hand as to whether or not you should play them. If you have a strong representation of evens, 3, 6, 9, year tiles, then you want to go ahead and focus on those. It just depends on what you have in your hand. And if you have lots of jokers, consider even playing a quint. Like numbers, remember that like numbers are all over the card, not just in that category. So remember that the category that you choose, you should maximize the usage of the tiles in your hand and let that drive you to which category to focus on. You're not needing to pick a hand. You choose a category to focus on. When you have all keepers in your hand, all useful tiles, that's when you pick a hand. You really don't need to do that before then. Now, if you do these 3 tactics all in one hand, optimize, maximize, and streamline, you have a power play, which means you probably will have a very successful Charleston. So let's go to I Love Maj and let's do Charleston modeling. And I'm going to show you these 3 tactics. Okay. Let me go here. Okay, I am going to, there we go. All right, now we're going to go to this other exercise in the exercise room. We're going to do Charleston practice. We're going to launch it, and this allows you to just focus on Charleston passing. So we're going to talk about hand or targeting the strength of the hand, and then we're going to use those tactics, and then we're going to assess our results at the end. So let's see what we have. East, red dragon, 1 bam, 5 bam with a pair. 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 in cracks, 5 crack pair. 2, 7, 8 in dots. So we have all 3 suits here. We have 2 multiples, 5 bam, 5 crack. If these were your tiles, which category would you focus on? Which category would you focus on here? Let me know in the live stream chat. Does anybody want to opine? Barb, thanks, Barb. Barb is saying maybe a year hand. That's a good idea because we've got 2 2s and 2 pairs of 5s. I like that. TJ says like numbers with 5s. Okay. TJ, is there anything in here that is missing? You have multiples of 5. Shelton says yes. Sherry says odds. Yep, there are a lot of odds in here as well. Now, we can't do all of these. We have 2 players who say they will do odds. You could do odds. You could do like numbers with 5s. You could do a year hand. You could even do consecutive run, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any like numbers or consecutive run, says Anne. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a long live stream this time. Actually, I'm going to open a spreadsheet here because we could with these tiles, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways. 5 categories, really 4 categories with options. So we're going to document this, and we're going to do the Charleston 5 times. I have a meeting at 3 o'clock, so I have to be off by then. I have to be off by, let's say, 2:30. So we have about 40 minutes to do this. All right, so now, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do starting tiles, category. Okay, and then we're going to do result and then position. And I'll explain all of this to you as we go. Okay. All right, so now we are starting with the east, a red, a 1-5-5 bam. And you can do this however, you know, whatever way makes sense to you. This is how I do it. Oh. There. Okay, so this is our starting hand, okay? We have an east, a red, a 1-5-5 in bams, a 2-3-4-5-9 in cracks. Then we have a 2-7-8 in dots. So let's just document the different categories we can focus on. The first one that came up was odds. And we could do big, or we could do little. So we could do big 5-7-9 or little 1-3-5. Okay, then we could also do like numbers with 5s. We could do a year hand, and we could do consecutive run 1-5. Okay, so these are all the different ways we could use these tiles. Which is the best? Which one of these do you think would be the ideal category to start with? Of these choices, big odds, little odds, like numbers with 5s, year hand, or consecutive run, which would be the ideal category to maximize the usage of these tiles? And I gave you a little bit of a hint in there. JR says consecutive. JR, that's Janice. Janice says consecutive run. Linda says consecutive run. Anybody else? Since we have 3 now, 3, Charlotte, consecutive run. So let's just pull over all the consecutive run, and we're just going to look at that. Let's just look at how many tiles we have to work with. We have 8 tiles, 9 tiles to work with consecutive run. Okay, so 9. And you don't want to spend too much time doing this. You want to make it quick, okay? So just visualize, yes, we're using most of our tiles. So if we did a year hand instead, well, we do have 2s and 5s. It would not use most of our tiles. It would only use 6. Okay, now if we did like numbers, we would be using 5. If we did little odds, we would be using 1, 2, 3, 6. We would be using 6. If we did big odds, we would be using 6. Okay, so which of these would be the best category to start with? based on usage. Consecutive run. So this is going to be our number one priority. So we're going to start here. Then we're going to do this, the sixes. So let's say 2, 3, 4, and then 5, because only 5 numbers. There's something missing here with like numbers. Okay. Tactic. Here we're going to optimize, maximize, and streamline. We're using all 3 with consecutive run. Okay, optimize, maximize, and streamline. With 6 tiles, we're not going to optimize. We're not going to use any of these. Here, we're going to optimize. Your hand, no, we optimize. We'll be able to optimize for each of the others because of the 5s. So, okay, so consecutive run is the best category for these tiles. Consecutive run, that's what we're going to focus on. Okay, so now let's pass. And you want to pass as defensively as possible. So we have only 1 win. That goes. We have 1 dragon. I'd let that go too. And if we're going to do consecutive run, this 9 is way outside our range. Now we could maybe do the 7. How do you know that you have the right color? It doesn't matter at this point. The right color combination, it's not color that we're focused on. It's what suits do we have. But you don't have to pick a hand right now. All we're doing now is we're gathering tiles for the category. The color, the suit, doesn't matter. Your focus should be on gathering, not which hand you're going to play. So you don't even need to look at the card. We're just gathering tiles until we run out of discards. Right now, we have 5 or 6 cleared discards. We don't need the 9. This 2 actually might work because it's in our range, 1 through 5. We have 5 clear discards. We don't need the 9, the 7, or the 8 because we're focused on a range of 1 through 5. So we don't care what suit we have. We're going to just gather the numbers, 1 through 5. That's the focus. So now we could let a 9 go, but we have corresponding dragon with the 9. I think an 8 would be okay, and so would the 7. I would say this would be the best pass. East, red, 7. Okay, so we're going to pass, and we're going to keep all tiles 1 through 5. Okay, we got a 3. And that's a new multiple. Anytime you develop a new multiple, you stop. You reassess to see if you're still in the right category. If you can reuse the tiles in a different way that would maximize your potential, then you could switch to a different category. In this case, we could still do consecutive run, but we could also do little odds at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we bumped up to 7 in little odds. We just bumped up to 7. Okay, we bumped up to 7 in the first pass. So now this is another option for us later. We'll look at that later. Okay, so now we also got a pair of 8s, but that pair of 8s is not going to help us with our 2 pairs of 5s. You want to focus on the most of your multiples. So in this case, the 8 dot doesn't quite work. It doesn't gel with what we have already. So I'd break it up and pass. Focus on the 2 5s. So you target most of your multiples. You maximize your multiples. The 8 dot didn't quite fit in. You might think to yourself, well, why not switch to 2, 4, 6, 8? Why would we not switch to 2, 4, 6, 8? We have a pair of 8s, we have 2 2s and a 4. We have no 6. That's a gap. Anytime you have a gap, take that option off the table. You don't focus on where there's a gap. We have 1 through 5 with no gaps. So that's what we want to do. Okay, we got another 5, and we have a 4, and now we have a 1 bam. We have 1 clear discard. 1. This is when you either whittle down your categories or you pick a hand, because we have only 1 discard. This is when you look at the card, but not before. There's no need to look at the card until you run out of discards. Right now, like right now. So we look at our multiples. 1 bam, 5 bam, 3 crack, 5 crack. What does that point to? 1 5 3 5. We don't have a 3 bam, that's true. But there are still options that we could do. We could still focus on 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5, little odds. So for example, we could do 2 3 4 5, 2 3 4 5. That's only 6 tiles. We could also maybe do 1 3 bam with 3 5 crack. So we're in between consecutive run and little odds. We could do a year hand, but we have no white dragons. So I would let that go. We could do like numbers with 5s, but we have no flowers. So I would let that go. So that means we could pass, let's say, the 5 and the 4. But let me point out one other thing we could maybe do. There's a potential hand in here that would use 3 multiples, consecutive run, and use most of our tiles. And that's the second hand from the bottom under consecutive run. We would have 5 discards, but we would use the multiples, which means we're optimized. We could use most of our tiles because there are 8 tiles in there. And we also are streamlining. So optimize, maximize, and streamline by playing that hand. So all we need in here really is a 1 or a 6 crack. Now what I would discard, I think I would let the 4 go and then the 2 and still keep that. We could still maybe play 1 3 3 5 if it comes in. But I think I would focus on that second hand from the bottom for a power play. There's a gap. I don't call that a gap though. The 2 3 4 5 is represented. We need 1 tile in there, a 1 crack or a 6 crack. I don't call that a gap because that block is there. It's just that it's vulnerable, but it is there. We have the 5s and the pair for that run. Okay, so here we go. Oh, look, we got 6s. Okay, so now we still didn't get a 3. Still no 3 bam. I would give up on the 1s at this point. We have 2 3 4 5 6. That's the predominant pattern here. 2 3 4 5 6. That's what I would focus on. And I would keep going. I'd break up the 1 because we have no 3. I'd let the 9 go, and then I would pass a 6. 196. We picked up a 2, so that changes things a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. We could maybe play instead the second hand down. This is why you don't want to pick a hand, because it changes. All you're focused on really is gathering tiles. You just focus on gathering, and then you go with the flow. You go where the energy goes. Here we picked up a new multiple with the 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a 4. We could do 2, 3, crack, 4, 5, dot. I would let the 6 go, the 1 and the 8. And that's a little bit risky, but you do the best you can with what you have left over. We're keeping 2 through 5. That's our focus. Okay, now we have a 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 multiples in here. 2 through 5. We have a clear discard with the 1, a clear discard with the north, and now we just need to let go of 1 tile. I think I would let the 4 crack or the 4 dot go. 2, 3, 4, 5. I would probably focus, if I had to pick a hand, I would focus on the second hand down, because we have multiples for every block. We could pung the 2 and the 4. And with this hand, you can use any number of jokers. So it's a powerful hand. Okay, we don't have any keepers here, so we can pass 3. Oh, yes, Marianne, I saw that. I'm sorry. I will definitely get back with you today. I've just been, as you mentioned in there, extremely busy. So we're going to pass these. Okay, we did pick up an interesting tile. 4, bam. 2, 3, crack, 4, 5, bam. So look at the results here. We have 6 discards for a hand with no gaps, second hand down, but we could also maybe play the second hand from the bottom, in which case we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discards. So we would be what I call an underdog for this, but we've got lots of options and no gaps. There's lots of flexibility here. So here I would say 6 discards, underdog. 6 discards, no gaps for several hands. There. Okay, so now we did that. Okay, there's our result. So let's do the next one. This one, little odds. So we're going to start at 6. So we're going to replay the same tiles, and we're going to focus on little odds and see what happens. Now we're going to change the dynamic here because we're going to be releasing different tiles. So we may get different tiles from our opponents because they too will be receiving different tiles, which means they are going to be releasing something else. So we may see 3s. We don't know yet. I would pass east, red, probably the 7 again. Same pass. And we're gathering odds. Even though we see a 2 now developing, if I weren't forcing little odds, I'd probably switch to a year hand. But we're trying to focus on little odds. So let's let the 9 go. We could let the 8 go, and then maybe the 4. Okay, still no little odds. This is going to get a little bit risky. Still no little odds. Well, we picked up a 1 bam. A 6 bam came in too. There's a 1 dot. We've got tiles we can pass. There's a 3. We have tiles we can pass. Actually, let's let the 1, no, we want to keep that 1 because that's a little odd tile. Okay, so we have 5 discards for little odds, and we have a gap, no 3 bam. We could maybe play that second hand down. It really didn't gel because we only have 1 3. You need multiples in there of 1s, 3s, 5s. We just don't have a lot to work with. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 multiples in there. It's just it didn't gel. We need a 3 bam, for example. So here I would come here, little odds. We had 1, 3, 5. Let's say little odds number 2 with a gap. No 3 bam. We're an underdog. Anytime you have a gap, you're an underdog, 100%. So I say that the result for consecutive run was much better because we had a lot more efficiency. We had 6 discard, but no gaps for several hands. So between the two, consecutive run was much better. So now let's do it again. And we're going to focus on big odds this time. So we're going to keep the big numbers now. 5, 9, 7. And again, we're optimized because we're targeting the multiples. Let's let the east go with the red. And this time, let's let the 1 bam go. Okay, we have a 3 crack pair, 2 2 dots, and an 8. I would just break all this up because we're focused on, we're forcing big odds. There's a 7. And we're going to let the little numbers go here. There's a 9. We're going to keep going. There's another 9. We'll keep going. I think I would let a 2 go here. I don't want to be left with 2 2s. Okay, we've got tiles we can pass. And we picked up a 9. Are you surprised at this result? I am. Okay, we have 4 discards and lots of big odds. Look at all the big odds we have. But is there something here that you notice? We have 10 tiles. What do you notice, though, about these tiles? It didn't gel. The only hand we really have potential for is 5, 7, 7, 9, second hand down. There, it just didn't gel. Didn't really, there's one hand in there with 5 tiles. It just didn't gel, okay? So we're going to say we're an underdog. So we had 4 discards, 1, 2, 3 multiples, didn't gel. This one, I think we had 5 multiples. I don't remember how that one worked out, but that's okay. Okay, now let's look at like numbers now. We're going to replay. Now, the thing about like numbers, though, well, let's just do it anyway. Might as well. The thing about like numbers is flowers. For the like number category, you've got to have flowers, and we don't have any. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so let's break up the 8, let the 7 and the 4 go. Actually, let's let the 3 go because we don't want to be stuck with a pair. Okay, so here's a 1, an 8, and a 3. Maybe even, yeah, it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, now we have tiles we can pass. North 1 with a 6. Okay, 1. We want to kind of break out these 4s, I think. Actually, the 4s would be better. Like the 4s might turn out to be a good like number here. Yep, I would not recommend hoping for jokers while you're making decisions. I think you should play without them in mind because you don't know if you're going to get them or not. That's an unknown. So I would not count on flowers and I would not count on jokers. Instead, I would focus on what you have. Focus on the facts, what you see in your hand. That's what you've got to focus on. Okay, so we ended up with 5 discards and 2 sets of like numbers, either 4s or 5s. So that was a terrible result. We're in between 2 different kinds of like numbers. We still have no flowers, 4s or 5s. Underdog. Okay, now we're on the last one, year hand. So we're going to sort and we're going to focus on year tiles. Even though we have no white dragon, and white dragons were not passed by our opponents. But you never know. Maybe they'll let them go now. So, replay, sort by suit. Okay, we're going to focus on a year hand. We've been using optimize, maximize, and streamline the whole time. We're optimized because we're targeting the 5s. Okay, let's let the east, the red, and the 7 go. Okay, we did not get any year. Oh, this is a year tile here. Okay, so we can let the 1 and the 8 go here. Okay, still no. Well, there is actually a wind year hand outside the category. We let it east go. Maybe it'll come back. Second hand from the bottom under winds. So we could keep that and see what happens. Let's let the 4 go here. Well, we're not playing 5s with north and south. We're focused on a year hand. We're forcing a year hand here. We're trying to see if a year hand comes in because that was one of the options that was brought up by somebody. So we're trying to focus on what people have suggested. Okay, there's the east. Okay, 2, 4, 7. Okay, we have a year tile. We went 3 tiles. But do you see how fast this goes with the Charleston if you use those 3 tactics? Optimize, maximize, streamline. I think it simplifies the decision making. 100%. Optimize, target multiples. Maximize, find a category that uses most of your tiles. Streamline, keep consecutive run for your predominant pattern. Okay, so here we ended up with 4 discards and we're in between some kind of year hand. We could either play the second hand from the bottom under winds, or we could play something in the first category, but we would have to add all those winds there. So that would be 7 discards. That would be, this is a terrible result. So year hand didn't really work here. We have a gap, no white dragon. No white dragon, but we do have 4 multiples. Including a north. We're an underdog. So we're an underdog for all of these, but the consecutive run category was by far the best choice. Excuse me. Okay, hold on. So, what do you think about that exercise? I call that Charleston modeling. It's where you focus on the Charleston. That's it. You're not playing to win. You're just focusing on Charleston decision making and hand development. If you use those 3 tactics, it will change the way you play the game. Optimize, maximize, streamline. It will simplify your decision making. Okay, so what I think we could do is I'll play an actual game and we'll just talk through the whole game. And then we'll end the live stream. I'm having trouble though with my throat. Hold on one second. I think I have yet another cold. Okay. So now here we go. We're going to talk through it all. We're going to target the strength of the hand. We're going to optimize, maximize, streamline. We're going to figure out what position we're in. Underdog, contender, front runner, and you can tell just by those names what that means. And then we're going to take relative risk based on our position. Okay, here we go. We have a joker, flower, south, green, pair, red dragon, 8 bam, 1 9 in cracks, 3 4 6 in dots with a pair of threes and a pair of sixes. Guess what we're going to do? 3 6 9. Some kind of 3 6 9, because that's what the multiples are, threes and sixes. What can you do with threes and sixes? 3 6 9. Now we don't know which one yet. I would still hold the pair of dragons because there is a hand with dragons, third one down. Okay, so now we have 4 tiles that we can let go of. Now here, this 4 dot, we might be able to keep that and streamline if we get a 5. So let's keep the 4. If we get a 5 dot, we could streamline. And there's actually a hand we could play maybe. It's third hand from the bottom under consecutive run. We got a 4 dot. There's 2 clear discards. One of the other quick ways that you can pass quickly is identify your clear discards. Here, we only need to come up with 1 to let go of, and I would let go of the 9. We don't have another tile really to connect that 9 to our 3 6. I'd almost rather play a gap hand and wait for a 2 or a 5. There's the 5. So we went from 3 6 9 to consecutive run. 3 6 9 didn't quite work. We gave up the 9, and now we have 3 4 5 6. No gaps. No gaps and 3 multiples. Now here, we have to actually make a tough choice. We could play 3 4 5 6, second hand down, no gaps. Or we could play 4 5 6 double dragon and break up the 3. And there isn't a right or wrong answer. One is riskier than the other because we don't have a pair there. And I don't think I would pass 2 like numbers here, but we can pass blind. Maybe we could, and I would pass a flower here because we have 2 strong hands. One is a hand of least resistance with multiples. The other is a double dragon hand where we need a red dragon. We don't know yet if that's going to come through, but we have great tiles for that hand. I would let the flower go in this case. We picked up a 3. I would let the dragons go and keep going and play 3 4 5 6. Okay, I break up the dragon. And we're going to maybe pass like that. Okay, no keepers. Okay, we've got 5 discards. We're the dealer though, so we have an extra tile. I'm going to discard the 9 bam, which will leave us with 4 discards. That means we're a contender. So we can take a little more risk. We have our 3 dot. We need to Kong the 4, pung the 5, and Kong the 6. Oh, but we could maybe do 4 5 6 7. We'd have to throw away a pung of 3s. I don't think so. I would leverage that pung of 3s. Oh, that changes things. We could do 2 3 4 5.
8 die. 1
So we're still a contender because we have we have a widespread here, or I
1
shouldn't
die.
use that phrase. We have too many options in here.
7
So we're just going to see what we draw. Oh, look, a 1.
7 die.
We have 1 through 5 in there now.
5 die. 8 die.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that. Sorry, I went a little fast on that.
7 die.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could play the first hand or the second hand 2 different ways. 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6. If another 5 dot goes down, I would pung and play the second hand down. We're in the middle game. Here's another 5 dot. I would pung because if we play the first hand, we would need a pair. And this would make the second one out. There would be only 1 left. So I would pung. Now, you know what we could do though? Instead of punging here, we could wait and do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I would still pung and do 3, 4, 5, 6 because that would use all the multiples. So now I would let the 1 go and this can go. 3, 4, 6. That's what we want. 3, 4, 5, 6. We need to Kong the 4 and the 6. Okay, there's a joker over there. Okay. Oh, we don't want to hold that. Okay. Ooh, joker. Oh, man. Okay, so we ended up with a joker, which is nice. So I hope that you found that helpful. Please give I Love Maj a try. If you've not tried it yet, use MAHJLIFE to get an extra week. And then practice. Use the exercise room like we showed you, and then practice with robots to help with your decision making. You're welcome. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll be back again tomorrow for more gameplay with commentary. So if you're free, join us at the same time right here. I appreciate you being here. Moderators, thank you for helping monitor the chat. And Marianne, I'll send you a text in a few minutes. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight of the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.